much it. You know who has been contributing as of late? That is Devin Carter. So Devin Carter, if I were to ask you how many points Devin Carter had, you might feel a little bit confused because it felt like he did so much for the team, and that's because Devin Carter was a plus 12 in 10 minutes and 31 seconds. And why was he a plus 12? Well, he only had 2 points, but the brother had 4 steals, 2 assists, and we know he's a big rebound guy. No rebounds besides one last night.
Although one of them, like Trey Lyles, like ripped one away from him as he was going up for a rebound, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, and look, man, a lot of people have been tough on Devin Carter, and I have been one of those people. I don't know what he's going to look like ultimately, or what his career trajectory is, or what his ceiling is. All I know is it's hard to convince guys to buy into defense, and it's hard to convince guys to buy into doing the dirty work. And by the way, he almost took someone's soul last night on that dunk. He tried to bring
that's
house
right.
down.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Was that maybe Williams? I can't remember.
I wanted that so bad for Devin Carter. So you do see some flashes there of the athleticism. I don't know what he's going to be. All I know is if you kind of remove expectations and remove comparing him to kind of other guys that got drafted around the time he got drafted, it's hard to convince young players to compete defensively, and Devin Carter competes his butt off defensively every single game, and that is something that gives me hope for who he could be. As far as, the playmaking and things like that, we'll see how all of that improves. I don't mind his 3-point shot. I think he is still working on some things. I'm curious if anything gets moved around or changed. It's a tweak here, tweak there going into the next season. Obviously, you're not going to do that now, but there's something there. Do I think that they knew how much of a project he was maybe going to be when they drafted him? I don't think so. Me personally, that's not source. That's just my opinion. But it's a draft. It's a raffle. It's a gamble. You don't know what's going to happen, and at least you have a baseline of that guy can defend at the NBA level. So that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, and I've talked about my general philosophy before of any pick that's like 10 through 25, any production you get out of their rookie year is gravy. Other than that, like, don't expect anything out of their rookie season because it's just such an adjustment and it's hard for them to have an immediate impact. Now, I will also acknowledge Devin Carter's not a true rookie in the sense that he's 22 years old. He's not 19 coming into the league trying to find his footing on a contending team. So there's a little bit of nuance to it, but these picks 10 through 30 in the first round are like, you got a 50-50 shot of that player ever contributing for your team in a meaningful way. So if you get anything out of their rookie year, especially for Carter, who's coming off of major reconstructive shoulder surgery, missing half the season, anything you get out of the rookie season is gravy. And it does not mean that the season was a success or a failure or it's indicative of his career. Now, do you feel better about the Tristan Da Silvas and the Dalton Connects just because they're making an immediate impact? Sure. But it doesn't have any bearing on their long-term projectability. Yeah,
I mean, you watch him play, and he's never going to be a guy, to me, that is going to take his jump shot off not right now. He's not taking anybody like a jump shot off the dribble or anything like that. He is a 3-and-D guy, and I think that's what he was always projected to be. And we'll see if he can improve in some of the other capacity. You can't be a guard and not be able to shoot free throws. That's a rough go. He's got to figure that out.
Yeah, he clanked a lot of those.
He's got to figure out the free throw thing because as a guard, that is where you make your money. That is where you take those points, and it helps your average. It obviously helps the team. So he's got to figure that out. Offensively, I don't even know how much of an off-the-dribble guy Keegan is, right? He's more of a set shooter type deal. So you don't need that from Devin Carter if you're always going to have a Malik Monk on your team or a Zach LaVine on your team. He is a very obvious case of, we don't have to work with the Keegan Murray thing. Oh, is he going to be one of those really good all-around players, or is he going to have to find a lane? We know for a fact Devin Carter, he knows what his lane is, and I do think that's a good thing. The question now is, how good will he ultimately be at being in that lane? That's what we need to find out.
Yeah, and if all goes well, he's got club options for years 3 and 4 at about like $5 million and $7 million because he was a first-round pick or a lottery pick. It's just slot position. Yeah. But if all goes well, you have 4 years to figure this out. And honestly, if you start to see signs, you've really got like 7 years of club control to figure this out with Devin Carter. So the fact that he's giving them production now is a huge relief to me, because if that were Markelle Fultz in the same spot as Devin Carter, I don't think that would serve the Kings well in the long run. I would rather give those 12 minutes to Carter and let him find his role with this group versus just giving it to Markelle Fultz to eat minutes, essentially. And that's no disrespect to Markelle Fultz. It's just Markelle Fultz is not going to be on the team in the long run. So what good does it serve you for those 12 minutes when ultimately Devin Carter's making an impact, but those 12 minutes are not the reason why you're winning or losing basketball games?
On the other side, from one guard to another, Malik Monk talked about his process, and we have some notes from him in the post-game